I'm Ari Miller with the Albany Symphony, sitting across from Ian, Johnny Terry, and Victor of Sandbox Percussion, and Viet Cuong, whose spectacular new GE commission, Renewal, is premiering this Friday night, 7:30 at the Impact Theater. Let's get into it.
So, we had talked about putting a concerto together for a while now, and this just kind of happened to be a perfect time and place to do it. I had originally written a piece for percussion quartet, just a chamber piece with 15 crystal glasses, and David Allen Miller had heard that piece and listened to it, and he called me and said, I love the idea of water being the basis for this concerto, and GE wanted to commission a piece that was inspired by renewable energy, and part of that is hydropower, so adapting music from that worked very well for this piece. Also, not just because the water, the very literal idea of using water percussion, but also the idea of synergy and working together. As you can see here, each percussionist has 2 glasses, but they only have those 2. And if they play them, they can only do that. But then when you have all 8 glasses working together, you can create many more chords and rhythms. And so it just worked very well for that idea of renewable energy. And then the second movement is inspired by wind turbines, and the 4 of them, each of them basically becomes a blade of a wind turbine, and they spin around the snare. And also I'm using this technique called a hocket, which is basically one composite piece of music that's split between 4 different people in this movement, and that idea of a hocket works very well with the idea of working together. And the last movement, all the way at the end, there's a setup with a lot of metallic percussion, and all the shiny metallic percussion for me evokes sunlight, and kind of looks like a solar panel too, the vibraphone. So
not have my pedal on.
Cool, but you can edit all that stuff out.
Yeah, some of it doesn't get seen.
This percussion quartet started in 2011, and it really kind of started just for our sort of common love for chamber music, and really just wanting to get together and to play this music that we cared about so much together. Our background in school was very much rooted in playing percussion chamber music, so we kind of took that and moved it sort of out of school and into the real world to commission composers and play more kind of classic pieces by composers like Steve Reich and John Cage. But then we've really kind of, I guess, taken the prominence of string quartets, and really kind of our sort of mission is to bring percussion to a wider audience. So getting a chance to be here in this beautiful hall, our first time playing in Troy, is really, really fun.
Yeah, and we feel like we kind of struck gold with Viet writing this piece for us, because it's something we talked about for so long. We were always like, yeah, we got to get Viet to write this concerto, because he has background not just as a composer, his training in that field is plentiful, but he also began as a percussionist, right, Viet?
Way back when.
Way back when. I know you try to forget, but
yeah, Viet and us go. Yeah. A lot of us went to school with Viet, actually, in undergrad, so that's kind of where, that's how we know each other. And like he was saying, we talked a lot in the early years of when we were a group of commissioning him and him writing a piece for us. Eventually that turned into like, oh, maybe you could write a concerto for us. Yeah. And now to have that actually kind of come true is years later is kind of cool.
Yeah, his knowledge of the instruments really, it shines through, because he writes things that really work and feel good in our hands, and you can tell he knows what he's doing.
All of the 3 movements require us to sort of think and play like we're one person. And for us as a chamber ensemble, that's like the goal for everything that we play. The idea is that we're breathing together, we're making a phrase together, we're doing everything as if we were one person. And so for you to actually physically write that for us, like in the last movement we make one melody, each of us plays one note of a melody, but it must sound like one line. And in the second movement, it should be like one crazy 8-armed drum set person, but it should still sound like one person. So it was a really cool challenge for us to get this super complicated writing and then figure out a way to make all of our individual parts sound like this one thing. So thanks for doing that.
Oh yeah, of course. And when I was writing the piece, it did cross my mind at some times to think like, oh, maybe I should give Ian like a 30-second solo here or something, but it just seemed to kind of, yeah, I felt it would feel out of place, not only in a piece about renewable energy that's all about working together, but also just writing a percussion quartet concerto where it should be about the quartet working together, not just with themselves, but also with the orchestra. So yeah, I'm glad you agree.
Where'd the name Sandbox Percussion come from? Why Sandbox?
Yeah, well, I guess we really wanted a name that kind of everybody could relate with in some way, that everyone could kind of come up with their own sort of meaning for why we were called Sandbox. We're 4 guys from America, and we all speak English, and we were American percussion quartet, so we really wanted a word that was like, I guess, an English word that everyone, like I said, everyone could relate to in some way. So for us, I guess sandbox means when kids get together to play in a sandbox, they do it for one kind of common goal and common purpose, and they're there for that one thing. And that is exactly why, or that's how we formed as a quartet, because there was this music that we really, really cared about, and we wanted to take that and make it our job. And we did that because we had that common love for it. Also, a sandbox has 4 corners, I guess. So that's
One person came up to us and kind of summed it up in a way that I guess must have always been kind of subconscious for me. But that, you know, she said, watching us play, there is like a parallel to watching kids play in a sandbox, because there is the facet of it that is like playing. You know, it's just fun, and we enjoy being with each other. We enjoy working together. But there's also something about like watching a kid in a sandbox that's like dead serious. And they're like making this sand castle, and nothing is going to get in the way. And we take it really seriously and bring everything to it. But at the core, it's because we love it. So,
yeah. I always thought the name worked well, just because so much percussion music uses found percussion instruments. So there's like kind of like a childlike sense of curiosity that comes along with like, I guess lots of kids have probably taken their parents' wine glasses out of, you know, their parents' cupboard and
Link them together.
until they broke, you know. So I always thought it was a great
cool.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah.